look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he got to be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. You got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when Floyd Mayweather started talking about his real estate deals. Right there on the podcast, he stopped him and said, wait a second, those numbers don't make sense.
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from an individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the loan.
Rogan pushed back on the story being told about Floyd, that he owns a long list of buildings worth tens of millions of dollars. He made it clear that talking big and actually having the proof to back it up are two completely different things.
All that money to the IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to
it's
pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money that there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats. You can sell them.
That's where things get interesting. Floyd built the whole Money Mayweather image around the idea of endless wealth, cash piles, expensive watches, and a financial empire that looked impossible to shake. But reports coming out of the business world tell a much more complicated story.
That Floyd Mayweather has made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fight.
According to Business Insider, 2 of Mayweather's commercial properties have already gone into foreclosure, and there were even reports that his Las Vegas strip club building was at risk of being taken over due to unpaid property taxes. On top of that, lawsuits have surfaced claiming he failed to pay for luxury watches and jewelry, something Floyd has denied. And just like that, the conversation shifts from showing off wealth to serious questions about his finances.
I mean, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment. His private jet fuel, he's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan.
The same outlet reported that 2 Trump Las Vegas condos were briefly seized for unpaid taxes before being returned after payment, and then a massive $54 million loan was reportedly backed by his homes, private jet, and businesses as collateral. Whether it's exaggeration or simply a misunderstanding, the gap between the lavish image and these reports has sparked a real debate. Joe Rogan's skepticism about Floyd's financial empire had already got people talking. Then Sean O'Brien walks into the conversation like someone who just grabbed the mic and decided holding back wasn't an option. Sean basically looked at the whole "Is Floyd broke?" headline and said, "Why is anyone actually surprised by this?"
What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. That they say can't read. That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke.
He flips the question straight back at the audience, saying, if you get up and go to work every week because you need the money, why would it be strange for a boxer to keep fighting for the exact same reason? And honestly, that's classic Sean, part raw honesty, part chaos energy. But he doesn't stop there. Sean starts breaking down the myths around boxing paydays, pointing out that those billion-dollar earnings and massive pay-per-view numbers usually come from press releases rather than any verified financial records. When he says no one actually processing those pay-per-view transactions has ever confirmed those numbers, it blows a hole straight through years of boxing hype. He's a gambling addict. He's got kids with multiple women all over the place. What do you mean, is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know who isn't broke? What a ridiculous question.
Gambling addict. He got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean, is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
At the same time, Sean isn't just taking shots at Floyd. He's calling out the entire way sports finances get talked about and sold to the public. Then he shifts to the contract mess, pointing out how Floyd announcing multiple fights around the same time as the supposed Tyson matchup would drive any promoter absolutely crazy. In the fight business, timing and exclusivity aren't just important, they're everything. And that's where the irony really hits. Sean brings up Floyd accusing Showtime of shady business practices, which is quite a claim coming from someone whose own financial dealings are under the microscope.
And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And, yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be
While critics are pointing fingers at Floyd's own promotion for creating the same kind of confusion with Logan Paul, the whole story suddenly becomes a situation where everyone thinks the other person is the problem. But here's the funny contradiction Sean unintentionally points out. People can question Floyd's finances, doubt his paydays, argue about contracts, or dismiss his exhibition fights altogether. But the moment Mayweather's name shows up on a fight poster, the entire combat sports world still stops and pays attention.
Mayweather owes Logan Paul $1.3 million. No, he doesn't. Just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And no, of course he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Allegedly.
Sean Sonnen had already poured fuel on the whole Floyd might be broke conversation. But then Jason Whitlock and the panel jump in, and things quickly turn into a full-blown roundtable of financial detectives. At that point, it stops being fight analysis and starts feeling more like forensic accounting with boxing gloves on. Whitlock kicks things off by leaning into Shannon Sharpe and the theory that Floyd coming out of retirement is really just about chasing a big payday. And the moment names like Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford get thrown into the mix, the business angle becomes impossible to ignore. Shannon's point is that those are the only fights that could generate the kind of money Floyd would actually be interested in. That's not just guesswork, that's basically a celebrity superfight wish list. Then Whitlock drops the Rocky movie reference, "Why do you fight?" And just like that, the whole conversation takes a surprisingly philosophical turn in the best possible way.
Sharpe and Ocho Cinco suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have that can command and get the kind of money he's looking to recoup for money that may have been lost, or money that may have been stolen, or money he may have spent, to date. For one, a rematch with Canelo. That's one fight.
Canelo too big.
Listen to me, Unc. We talk about making that money. He ain't gonna have.
Floyd had no choice but to build his entire brand around the idea that money equals success, literally going from pretty boy to money. And Whitlock nails the brutal irony of it all. When your whole identity is built on being wealthy, any rumor about financial trouble doesn't just raise eyebrows, it becomes a full-blown media storm. Then Dre brings a more grounded perspective, saying the real issue isn't how much Floyd made, it's everything we don't actually know. The liquidity, the assets, the liabilities, the taxes, the lifestyle. Basically, it's the financial iceberg hiding under all those flashy Instagram posts. The panel also throws in jokes about gambling habits, IRS bills, and luxury spending, and suddenly Floyd's career starts looking less like a victory lap and more like a complicated puzzle with missing pieces. But here's the part that's actually funny. While half the panel is questioning whether it even makes sense for a nearly 50-year-old fighter to step back into the ring, the other half quietly admits what every fight fan already knows deep down. If Floyd Mayweather actually announces a fight against someone like Crawford, Canelo, or even Pacquiao again, every single person arguing about it right now will still be tuned in when that first bell rings.
$1 billion and he's 47 years old and he's completely broke. He's won the prize. This is, of all the idiots that we've seen out there, celebrities, actors, entertainers that have lost a lot of money, this guy would take the cake. To blow a bill before he even hits 50 is unimaginable. It actually is sad. It's a cautionary tale. We have seen it time and time again. But who actually wants to watch this guy fight? Like, people that love him. If he comes out and if he loses and looks terrible and gets destroyed, well, look, if you love him or hate him, you can say, well, he's nearly 50 years old.
Whitlock and the panel had already turned the Floyd comeback story into a financial courtroom drama. But then Andre Ward steps into the conversation, and the whole tone shifts immediately from hot takes and speculation to real fighter-level reflection. And honestly, that contrast hits differently. Ward opens by reminding everyone that he has always respected Floyd's work ethic, And that's a point worth nodding at, because it's something that often gets buried when people only focus on the glamour. Ward makes it clear that the flashy cars, the jets, and the lavish lifestyle were all part of the Floyd brand, but underneath all of it was always a gym rat who never stopped putting in the work. When Ward admits he's torn about this comeback, you can feel the genuine honesty in that. He's not piling on Floyd the way the rumor mill has been. He's saying something much deeper, that boxing becomes a core part of who you are as a person. And when Ward explains that the adrenaline, the spotlight, and those massive fight night paydays create a feeling that ordinary everyday life simply cannot replace, it reframes the whole conversation. It's no longer just about money, it's about identity, purpose, and what happens when the thing that defined you is suddenly gone.
Part of that is because of the way Floyd Mayweather goes about his business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights or more haters. But regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, networks included, early on didn't think that he...
That's the kind of insight only someone who has actually been there can deliver. Then Ward shifts to the Pacquiao rematch, and the analyst side of the conversation kicks back into gear. Ward makes a really interesting point. Older fighters sometimes actually produce more action because they can no longer rely on constant movement the way they used to. Less foot speed means more exchanges, and that idea alone flips the script on everything people keep saying about this fight being automatically boring. But the tension Ward keeps coming back to is the very real danger that comes with age. Your mind still believes you're the same fighter you once were, while your body quietly tells a different story. That one line alone explains half the tragedies the sport of boxing has ever seen. And yet, even as Ward says he would personally rather see both legends kicked back on a beach somewhere enjoying retirement, he admits that curiosity still wins in the end, because when two icons with unfinished business between them step back into the ring, the entire fight world watches, whether we plan to or not.
Watch a fighter, he'll say he don't watch him, but he'll watch any potential opponent over and over and over, and he has to process, can he do anything with me? How does my skill set line up with his? Can I beat him? The problem with being 49 years of age is sometimes your brain can see things and tell you things that your body's not in agreement with. That's the problem with age. Your brain is still saying, I'm him. Your brain is still saying, man, I'm Money Mayweather. Man, these youngsters can't deal with me. But your body is saying, brother, we can't do it like that.
When you step back and look at the full picture, it feels like four completely different worlds crashing into each other all at once. Joe Rogan is questioning the financial empire story. Sean Sonnen is tearing apart the myths around boxing paydays. Whitlock's panel is breaking down the business and lifestyle side of things. And then Andre Ward walks in with the fighter's perspective, reminding everyone that this sport gets into your blood in a way that money can never fully explain. One side of the debate says Floyd's comeback is purely about landing another massive payday. The other side says the financial rumors are nothing more than exaggerated gossip. And Ward's take quietly sits in the middle, reminding us that sometimes fighters come back because the spotlight, the competition, and that rush of adrenaline are things that ordinary everyday life simply cannot offer. That's the real tension at the heart of all this. Legacy versus longevity, business versus passion. And whether people think Floyd is chasing money, chasing history, or just chasing that feeling of being Money Mayweather one more time, the truth is that the conversation itself proves just how much influence he still carries. Because look around, everyone is debating, arguing, and picking apart every angle of this comeback from every direction. And that right there is exactly the kind of pull that only true legends have on a sport.
That's the struggle, and that's the danger of coming back at this age. So part of me wants to see these guys continue to make money. Part of me wants to see these guys, how do they do it at this age? Man, show me something. Show me how your mind can overtake the deficiencies you may have in your body at your age. But the deeper part of me, man, I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on a beach somewhere, living off the fruits of their labor, helping the game however they see fit to help the game, and just watching the next generations do what they do. But hey, we got to fight September 19th.
Now, I want to hear what you think. Is Floyd coming back for the money because he genuinely loves the sport, or because there's still unfinished business with Manny Pacquiao that's been sitting in the back of his mind? Drop your take in the comments. Let's actually talk about this. And if you got something out of this video, hit that like button, share it with someone who loves boxing, and make sure you're subscribed to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.